Hello, good evening. My name is Vita Sadanandan, and today is 5th of April 2026. The time is 6:38 p.m. The area of body we would be maintaining health of by the Nirbeeja Yoga style is the region of the glutes or the buttocks. Now, this region um, holds a lot of significance in the evening after a whole day's work. I have been gardening a bit, doing a bit of cleaning, up, down, sitting, twisting different kinds of directions. Not much sitting, but yeah, sitting also. But all of that because of the strength of this glutes or the buttock muscles, which maintains the strength or the ability to bend and lift and stand up and sit and twist, while it supports the um, center of gravity. Now, this region has its own importance when compared to other muscles in the body. So heart has a job to do, and so has the glutes, and uh, the function of each cannot be really compared because well, you cannot really sit or move, um, while the heart has its own place in the whole scheme of things. Now, I'm stating some obvious things here, but it would not be so obvious when you pay attention to how is your glutes in the evening at this time when the sun is in different stages of setting, at least in my part of the globe. I'm in South India, Bengaluru. And after a day's work, taking care of your glutes, or what I call as recalibrating. So the health of glutes are as they require to be for the rest of the day. You sleep, wake up in the morning, and again recalibrate. Well, this is something you can do during different times of the day, especially if you've done some work and you're resting, you recalibrate, and then your equipment, your body equipment, is more available for the next set of work without carryover, without tiredness carrying over from the previous activity. So I happen to be doing these lives in the morning between 6 to 7 and evening 6:30 to 7 and evening 6:30 to 7. So these are two opportunities when we can kind of learn some aspects of recalibration, because I'm the founder, facilitator, proprietor, coach, different stages of making this available. But this is also an attempt to make this available to different people who may not know that this is available, as a means to take care of health. How do we maintain health of glutes? I took a sip of water and a little cough cough. It went through the windpipe instead of the foot pipe a little bit. Now, how do you take care of your glutes? I invite you to take a seat on a chair that allows for your knees to be at a 90-degree angle to your foot, to your feet, which can be placed at shoulder width apart, and such that your ankles are at a 90 degrees to your knees, which are at 90 degrees to your hips. And in this posture, your bones are maintaining a certain tension, which is more optimal because the joints support each other. If the knees are, say, wide apart or narrow together while your ankles are at a different posture, the tension through your bones and your joints would be different. And so your spine and your glutes would experience, your neck and your shoulders also would experience tension very differently. And which is, excuse me, which is why during different activities, when our posture is as it's uh, with less strain, then your muscles are less tensed and you're likely to consume less energy while you're doing your activities. So if you're running on low fuel, you're less likely to get tired because you're less likely to get more tired than you need to. Because your posture is more conducive to not consuming too much of power. Now, in the seated posture, I invite you to bring your attention to your glutes, to the region where you sit, and to pay attention that the lower portion of your thighs are also supported by the chair you're sitting on, which means sit deep into your chair, such that the back of your body is touching the back of the chair. And in this posture, you can allow your back to be rested in on the back of the chair. So your muscles and your bones can take the support of your chair rather than holding your entire framework up. So that allows for the upper part of your body to exert less weight on your glutes. So now, in this posture, you can pay attention to your glutes better than if your upper part of your body had exerted its entire weight on your glutes. I invite you to bring your attention to the region that's actually touching the surface of the chair and above the region of your glutes. It may seem like I'm repeating myself here, but after you have kind of relaxed your back on the back of your chair, and then pay attention to your glutes versus without the support of the chair back, the weight of your body on your glutes would be different. And then when you're, after resting your back, when you're paying attention to your glutes, it's possible for you to notice further finer details, which is not otherwise available. So I invite you to try out the back supported versus back not supported, and then what does the glutes feel like? Now I'm repeating myself here because paying attention to glutes may not be your everyday activity. Also, today's date, there are different environmental effects when compared to other days of the year. Why? Because today is special in today's way. It's also Easter. I think I've got the dates all mixed up. But what people think about on today's date was not there to be thought about yesterday or yesterday. Yeah. And so business opportunities, something new happened for somebody, or for me, for example, I gardened a bit. This is not available on other days. This has been a few years. So things like this, somebody is inspired to do something new or a little extra work, and you're in your environment, people are experiencing unusual environmental effects because humans have been doing things that earlier they didn't think about. A sudden bout of cleaning up, or a sudden bout of special kind of cooking, or a hard drive to meet a certain target which they hadn't thought about earlier. Such things have an influence on your body. So any day in that sense, it's a special day for you to pay attention to your glutes, because that day's experience is not available on previous day or the next day. Yeah. So try and pay attention to the tissues of your glutes, for which bring attention to any sense of warmth. No, any sense of tension in the muscles of your glutes. And there are many kinds of muscles in many directions about your glutes, depending on what kind of activity you've been doing, what's your vocation, how much you've been standing, bending today versus any other day. And paying attention to different texture of muscles in your glutes, which may be moving in different directions. Now, I invite you to download this app called Visible Body or Biodigital Human, and you will have a digital representation of the muscles of the glutes in the musculoskeletal system, visible body, musculoskeletal system. You would have a digital representation of how many directions of muscles are there in the glutes. And paying attention, now you can only visibly see the images in the apps, but to pay attention to the experience of muscles in your body in the evening versus morning, right now in the evening, so we'll just stay with the present moment, noticing the tension in your different kinds of muscles. I may be repeating myself, but paying attention to tension of one muscle moving in one direction versus another muscle moving in another direction is two different experience. Yeah, this is like saying I'm paying attention to my right hand and I'm paying attention to my left hand, because that much variation could be there. Okay. If you've never paid attention to right and left hand and noticed that the two hands would be functioning different because you may be more right hand dominant versus left hand dominant, the tension in the right versus left hand would be different. A lot of people don't know this because they may not be paying attention to these subtle differences. So for me, paying attention to hands are like, given that they will be different. Yeah. So similarly, we are talking only about the glutes and different kinds of muscles in the glutes. So the gross example is the hands, but a lot of people do not pay attention to hands. So what else can we say? Okay. Um, I can't even say left versus right ears. If you've never paid attention to your ears and don't know that there will be a difference in the tension between left and right, I'm at a loss. Yeah. Okay. So what are you familiar with as being significantly different between the different kinds of textures? Okay. So you have your bones, your teeth, and you have your tongue. Different texture. Yeah. Teeth, bony texture, tongue, muscle texture. Your glute muscles, different kinds of muscles, different directions of muscles going in different directions could have such kind of a difference, where some muscles are so tight or so tense and some muscles are not so much. Comparative analysis. Yeah. Now, it would help to pay attention to your muscles in terms of softness, which is when your different muscles kind of are like when you cook vegetables, they are kind of hard. Carrot versus tomatoes versus beans, yeah, versus brinjal versus vegetables when you're cooking them. They would be hard versus becomes softer as they heat up when you're cooking. So when you pay attention to warmth and softness about the tissues of your glutes, you're not cooking the muscles, but your awareness of softness and warmth allows for those muscles to be a little more comforted. It's like when you're all cold or you're tired from a day's work, you have something warm. It's likely to comfort you. So your muscles are having a little warmth, a comforter, so that they don't have to be tensed from the hard day's work. They begin to relax. Yeah. I call different muscles, different parts of my body like people. When you take care of the people of your body, yeah, you have a healthy working organization or organism. Your body, organism, organization functions well because the people run the different departments, run the organization. And when you take care of your people, your organization does well. Less likely to go into strike or downtime or we need greater pay because you are already taking care of what is due to them. I am drinking water as I'm going this live because I'm making my water, my body runs on water. It's at least 60 to 70% water. Yeah. So refueling is how you also take care of the people of your organization. Room temperature water. Yeah. So water, veggies, different ways of taking care of yourself. And especially when you are recalibrating, like when you're doing Nirbeeja Yoga, having some water nearby is a blessing because your body would make use of warmth. Because I also keep telling, pay attention to warmth and softness and several little details. We haven't yet arrived at them, which would utilize the available resources already there in the body. For example, water, warmth, yeah, or heat, and different elements, earth, water, fire, spirit, space. In also made available through the food you eat, different activities, even through rest, fun, that's already available in the body to do the work of maintaining health or recalibrating or Nirbeeja Yoga. Yeah. Yoga is exercise. Now, just because you're not moving any muscles doesn't mean your body is not doing exercise. For some people, just about 10 to 12 minutes of this could be like a workout because they'd be so tired paying attention to the body while their body is using the available resources so that your nerves are growing in sense and sensibility, in being able to pay attention to warmth and softness and notice the different physiological effects. It also is kind of healthier metabolism because microbes, which may not be allowing for you to be so sensible or sensitive, is also having another retraining so that they are organized differently. Yeah. You would be getting healthier through Nirbeeja Yoga. Yeah. And healthier microcosm, or your body made up of several kinds of microorganisms also, um, naturally retrains your body for health, which means your intelligence will be getting intelligenter. Yeah. Through awareness, mindfulness, present moment appreciation. So, for any work to be done, your body utilizes available resources. So, having a bottle of water close by and regularly sipping from it, you are basically cultivating your field. Like a farmer takes care of the field, regular water and crop seeds, for example, what you're eating, nuts, some vegetables, or seeds. Yeah. While you're doing Nirbeeja Yoga, you're basically functioning like a farmer. These, uh, you're kind of tilling your land while also drinking water and eating these different ingredients. They go into those aspects of your conscious, subconscious, and conscious, superconscious processes where there is the ability or the readiness for such information to go and take root or have a substance by which to then take root and become better. Okay. I also did some plant work. Maybe the plants are also listening to what I'm speaking here. Yeah. So there are many people getting informed. So it is good for your environment also if you engage in such activities such as growing plants in a pot or just sprucing up your own living space, because the earth, water, fire, and spirit space in your room is also listening to you while you are maintaining health, by how you are maintaining health. Because earth, water, fire, and spirit space, they are also your family members, they are also your roommates. Yeah. So that's also your body composition, that's also the room composition, that's also the environment outside's composition. So several kinds of people are listening to you. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean that they are not there. Yeah. So as you are maintaining health, how you do anything then has an effect on different environments. They also begin to start learning to do things like how you do things. And then you have complementary partners. You try to do, oh, great, more than what you want to. When you do more than what is required, then you would have to deal with backjack. Yeah. You want so much to happen, you've done a little more than is needed, and then that'll have a domino effect on something else which needs more space, but your extra bit is going and sitting on that bit, and that doesn't have enough space. Yeah. Just enough is one of the benefits of Nirbeeja Yoga. Now, to learn how much is just enough, the simple comes after going through several kinds of complexes, which is why I recommend sign up on learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. Um, learn.dynamicstillnesses.com. On that, you will on that page, you would find a tab on top right, which says services, on which you will find a list of different kinds of services. You could have one-to-one, group work, counseling, on-table therapy work, many things which I make methods of healthcare I make available. So slowly, you will go beyond the complexes until you arrive at the simples. So what I'm saying here simply has several details of several kinds of complexes, which is not immediately visible, because of which what I'm saying may not be simply landing. Yeah. So I say your environment, what you do then affects your environment. You are likely to think, oh, I'm going to do this. And then you have comparison competition. You don't even know you're going through comparison competition. Yeah. And that would be having its own effects. So this is kind of a little advertisement of what's the benefit of yoga and Nirbeeja Yoga. So I'm talking about several simples, but it also has several complexes. So I'm kind of naming the complexes, but it takes something to have the simples. But paying attention to your glutes right now, in terms of warmth, in terms of softness, in terms of the recommended posture, at least during these lives. And if you're taking down notes, one or few points, or yeah, has its own benefits, so that when the questions arise, you would be more readier to ask them. Yeah. Because you would be a little more aware of what you know, what you don't know. And if you're not having the kind of benefits that I'm talking about here, that I'm saying I have, and you think you have better, or you can get what I'm talking about elsewhere, consider that you haven't gotten what I'm saying. Yeah. This is like quantum mechanics. A lot of people think they know it, but it's I'm kind of like the founder, facilitator, proprietor. Yeah. And people have different ideas about what quantum mechanics is. But I'm also talking in terms of quality, quantity and quality. People are not talking in terms of quantum mechanics. Yeah. Quantum, yes. Quant and qual. Yeah. So find little details. Makes a big difference in what is health. Quality of health versus quantity of health. You could even pop a pill, lots of pills. That's not necessarily going to be translated as healthy. Yeah. Variety. Now, we haven't approached Nirbeeja Yoga in terms of circadian rhythms, which is what makes it even more interesting and even more finer. Right now, we are still staying with warmth and softness because I'm also responding to the room. And I don't think we are so much ready to go beyond warmth, softness, and tissue texture awareness. But so I've been doing this during 2 years of the pandemic, Nirbeeja Yoga on Facebook Live. Since there to now, what I'm talking about is different. We are still talking about warmth, softness. Okay. Movement. When you pay attention to warmth and softness of the region of your glutes, and you notice different kinds of tension in the muscles of your glutes, try and pay attention to any sense of movement in the muscles of your glutes. Now you could be making those movements. For example, you are making slight movements, left, right, front, back, or different kinds of shifting your weight between left and right, which could also be causing the movement. Your muscles are alive, and hence they are moving by their own accord because they need to move to maintain health. Now, just like you don't instruct your heart how to move, to keep you alive. Your different parts of your body have their own job to do, which you have not assigned them. So the muscles of your glutes are moving the way they need to maintain being alive and to maintain your posture to be the way it is right now. Just because you don't know what your glutes are doing doesn't mean the glutes are not doing what they're doing. Yeah. Even before people found Himalayas and named it Himalayas, Himalayas was Himalayas. Yeah, like that. Yeah. So some obvious things are I'm kind of calling them out right now. So if you can notice any sense of movement about your glutes, you are a little more aware of what your body is doing. Yeah. So that's like living lifelong with your partner and you don't know something about your partner. Yeah. So your body, lifelong partner. Now you know something new. Yeah. Your own body. Lot more to discover. Very lot more. Now, left and right sides of your glutes could be making different kinds of movements because there are different kinds of movements or different directions of muscles in the left glutes and different directions of muscles in the right glutes. And the two sets of muscles need not be moving the same way. That's a complexity I've introduced. Yeah. How do you pay attention to it? So notice your glutes in terms of warmth, in terms of softness, and notice any sense of movement in any direction in the left and right sides of your glutes. I'm kind of simplifying the equation. But if you notice movement and you don't go into head about where the movements are coming from or why the movements are happening, it becomes easier for you to pay attention to movements, however they are happening. Okay. And you could think it's weird. No, no, no. Your heart beating, you don't think it's weird. If you feel your heartbeat, then you think it's weird because you know something new. That's like a baby discovering, I have a stub on my right, a stub on my left, and those stubs have stubs on them. And over time, they come to learn that they're called hands and fingers. Yeah. And then they can do stuff with it. But what you do with the stubs that you have, yeah, makes a difference. Now, being aware of your glutes may have you feel a little weird, like you discovered something new, like you sprouted a different limb or another tail. Yeah. Like you have something new in your body right now. Oh, that's the thing now. And every day I'm talking about one part of the body. Oh my goodness. Okay. Maybe I should stick to just making course on learn.dynamicsservices.com. I'm causing trouble in the world. You're fine. You guys are discovering new parts in your body. Same body. You're aware of a new movement. When you are more engaged in what your body is doing, you are less likely to be distracted by what's happening around or instead of just minding your own life, your health, wealth, and wisdom, and going about doing your daily activities, you may be distracted in things that you don't really need to be paying attention to. Yeah? Or you may be paying attention to more things than you need to and not paying attention to what you really need to be taking care of. Yeah? Which is why you may be comparing with other people. A lot of time goes in comparison and competition. When your body and your life requires a lot of attention to details. I'm bringing attention to some of the details that's there here. So you're more engaged with your body, your life, and the things that affects your health, wealth, and wisdom. That's less trouble on the block because you are not going and poking your head on other people's details while you can actually be involved, engaged, invested in your own life, health, wealth, and wisdom. Yeah. That's a few list of diseases in WHO's global list of diseases down. We are actually doing this. Mind your own business. So my business is about the human body. So I'm introducing people, I'm basically cultivating the market. It's like when you grow vegetables and different people are growing different kinds of vegetables, you have kind of different body parts right now. But you have working, functioning body parts, and you have a healthy economy. And my interest is in the health of humanity across boundaries. Otherwise, we are having sick economy. People are not even aware of what they already have. And then we are functioning like, oh, poor people. Yeah. And God needs to, God help us all the time praying when you can actually take care of yourself. So I'm just making sure that we actually have a healthy economy, and God is not so burdened with all kinds of prayers that you have just to take care of your health. Yeah. God can be engaged in living life in the multiverse while you are about going about your business of living life in the multiverse. And that also involves you being aware of the instruments of what you have in your life by which to live a life in the multiverse. So I'm just doing my business. I'm making sure people who can and live a life in the multiverse, which basically are people who have a body that's human, are becoming aware enough to be in living life in the multiverse. So if you're not aware of what you have in your body, how are you going to do the work of enlivening life in the multiverse? Yeah. Textbook. The school that I am running, you're already born with the textbook, your human body. So I'm introducing you to the content of the textbook. So as you become more educated, um, God becomes more involved in what God needs to take care of. So that 50-50 equation, you're doing your bit, God doing God's bit, and every person have this man and God relationship. So lots of gods, lots of mankind, a lot of work gets done. Yeah, I'm just fast tracking basically. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. If you're a little more aware of your glutes, some more parts about your glutes, that's one more feature of the human body that you have. That is those who have, no, everybody has glutes. Yeah, in different versions, yes. That's a few more muscles you're aware of. Getting to a better place. All of us getting to a better place. We are a little more aware of our human body textbook. More details to come. Lots of details, which is why I need to make the course. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day. Hey, Williams.